Hey, I'm Corey with Vox Amplifiers, and we're here at Sam Ash looking at the new MV50 amps. The thinking behind the MV50 line is that Vox wanted to give us guitar players a high-powered, great-sounding portable amplifier. And the MV50 lives and breathes and sounds great due in large part to the Nutube technology. Now, Nutube is actually a display tube that was developed in the late 50s and early 60s, and it's been repurposed for audio. And what that means is that we can take a vacuum tube that runs on about 2% of the energy and 2% of the heat and stick it into an amp that's about a pound and tiny. It fits in your gig bag. And that Nutube allows us to run a tube front end and a Class D power section. And let me tell you what that means. A Class D power section is a solid state power section, but it doesn't mean that we just grabbed one off the shelf. We actually designed a power amp that's going to complement the sound of that preamp tube that's based on the Nutube. So a Nutube front end, Class D power section, and it gives you 50 watts of output. Now you can see that next to me there's 3 of these MV50s, and the one closest to me is the Rock one. In the middle we have Clean, and on the outside we have the classic Vox AC sound. Now, each one kind of has their own personality, and I'll run you through some sound samples now. What we wanted to do is give guitar players his or her own flavor of MV50. And the first one next to me is the Rock flavor. So you can see that the MV50 Rock is going to be more of a high gain. If I turn that one on, what's cool about this is that we love vacuum tube amps because they're dynamic and they breathe and they bounce. So this Rock MV50, if I roll off the volume, you can hear that it cleans up and it's really dynamic. So if I dig in, you get something nice and big. But if I split that humbucker into a single coil and go with something with the volume rolled off, so the MV50 Rock version is really dynamic. I don't want you to just think of it as a high gain amplifier. Now let's move over one to the MV50 Clean. If I turn that one on, I want you to think of something that's like a fat clean. So the amplifiers from the mid-1950s, late 1950s, early 60s, if you drove them a little bit, they would start to break up. They'd get a little bit saggy, a little bit warmer, a little bit woolly. And that's what the MV50 Clean sounds like. If I hit that a little harder with a humbucker, so the MV50 Clean is also dynamic in that it'll break up a little bit if you hit it hard with high output humbuckers, but it'll clean up really nicely if you go with single coils if you roll off the volume. The final MV50 I want to show you is the AC flavor. Now, Vox has been known for 60 years for making the AC15, the AC30, the AC10, the AC4. The AC sound is chimey, brilliant, and beautiful. It's the sound of 1,000 European arena concerts. That is loaded in a 1-pound AC MV50. And if I show you what that one sounds like, what's awesome about AC30s, though, is just like the Clean and the Rock, the AC MV50 breaks up really nicely. It fits in the mix perfectly, so it doesn't matter if you're recording at home via the direct out or if you're playing on stage with a lot of people, that AC fits in the mix exactly where the AC30 wants to. And again, it's the reason that Vox is famous, is that AC sound. Now you've heard all 3 amps. If I spin all 3 of them around, you'll see a few different switches. First thing that you'll see is a direct out. It's a cab emulated direct out, which means that it has cabinet simulation built in. You don't need to run it through a speaker cabinet. You could actually run it through some headphones and practice silently, or plug it into an audio interface for silent home recording. Next to that, you have the on-off power switch. you have a flat and deep switch. And what that allows you to do is either have a flat EQ or a little bit more emphasis in the low end, so it has a little bit more bass and it feels bigger. You would want that if you use the 1/8 cab that these are sitting on. It's an 8-inch speaker, so pushing that low end makes the whole rig sound a little bit bigger than a 1-pound amp on an 8-inch speaker. Now next to that, what you're going to see is the rating for your speaker load, either 4, 8, or 16 ohms. You would set that to match the speaker cab that you're running through. If you choose to use one of the 1/8 cabs that the MV50 matches, or one of the 112 cabs that the MV50 matches, those are 8 ohms. So you would set that at the 8 ohm load. That gives you 25 watts of output. However, each one of those cabs has 2 jacks in the back, and you can daisy chain them together. So if I took this Rock MV50, plugged it into this 1/8 cab, and then plugged that 1/8 cab into the one next to it, now it's a 4 ohm load, and it gives you the full 50 watts of output. So what that means is that at 4, 8, or 16 ohms, the MV50 can plug into any cab that you already own, or you can get one of the matching 1x8s or 1x12s. Now that's the MV50, powered by the Nutube technology in either Rock, Clean, or AC. For more information on the MV50 or any of the Vox products, check out Sam Ash.